Welcome to yet another episode of Underground Spotlight here on Forge Master Metal Reviews, the place where you can get the most out of your metal. This is one of our favorite segments, and we know it's one of yours too.
There's nothing quite like gearing up for another adventure into the dank crypts of Bandcamp, where we know great metal riches await us. If you dig metal content like this in the form of top lists, interviews, and reviews, hit that like button for us. It helps this video spread to new fans.
Polish up those broadswords and make sure the blade is true. Let's get into our favorite metal albums from Bandcamp.
Chamber of Unlight, Realm of the Night, released August 13th on Werewolf Records. Hailing from Finland with one of the most hilarious but fitting album cover artworks I've seen in a while. This album is freaking killer. Not exactly the best album for summer though, but this unholy, filthy record scratches that mystical old school melodic black metal itch that I've just been wanting all year. The record oozes with dark and haunting atmosphere with rich keyboard layers and aggressive black metal riffing. Everything you would want in a melodic black metal album. The highlight of the record is definitely the vocals, fronted by artist Necrosis, mixing intense harsh vocals and chants with that bleak occult theme. It's just so freaking awesome. One of the biggest surprises of August by far. I cannot wait to revisit this record in the fall for my woodland walks. If you dig yourself some orthodox Finnish black metal, this is essential listening. 4.2 out of 5 Woven Hearts.
You found a really great one with Chamber of Unlight here, man. This is super cold, super raw, but it's just so catchy and the riffs are fantastic. Great pick there. Mexican Sludgesters, Burnt to Ashes, have remastered their debut record, titling it Revisiting the Trails. It was independently released on August 16th. This trio delivers a refreshing and unique take on doom metal, incorporating elements of sludge, death, black, and funeral doom metal. The atmosphere is gritty and raw, like you're inhaling a giant waft of smoke from a campfire that you can't seem to escape from. I really appreciate the diversity that the trio brings to the table, and they showcase the ability to write really cool songs. Unfortunately, it was the audio quality that kept me from fully enjoying this record. It reminds me of what DIY metalcore bands were doing in the mid-2000s. It feels a bit outdated. I was a bit shocked to find out this was a remaster, actually. Despite my score of 3.5 out of 5, I think this band has something really powerful up their sleeve, and I think they have the potential to release something really awesome.
It was an interesting production with fizzy guitars and kind of a boomy low end, but that was sort of my problem with it. The fizzy guitars were not glued to the rest of the band, and if they just beefed those up to match the power in the drums and the bass, the recording would have sounded great. Those big heavy sections just don't hit as hard as they should, and that would have elevated the songs even more. But still pretty cool. There's some cool ideas in here. Check it out.
Totally agree.
Rosa, The Redemptive End, released July 30th on AOP Records. This anonymous German black metal quartet channels their inner Magua worship, but excels at trimming the fat and getting to the point in their song structures. Fight me if you want to, Magua are a little bit long-winded. Furious riffing, killer melodies, oppressive and dark atmosphere. Groza lean more into the post-rock territory with their black metal, and man, it freaking works. At times, the emotive passages remind me of bands like our main friends, Balls of Roros, check them out if you haven't, to round out those blistering black metal furious parts. So many songs hit you in the feels with powerful and climactic sections, and there's even moments where I feel like they're just carrying the torch, where Magua sadly hasn't been able to deliver as of late. Really awesome record, fantastic stuff. I keep uncovering things every single spin. Solid sophomore effort from Groza. 4.3 out of 5 Hooded Maniacs.
Yeah, man, I was really surprised upon listening to this one for the first time as to how much of a real kind of hidden gem this one is for August. Love those post-rock, post-black metal vibes that they lean into. The songs themselves are very episodic. Really looking forward to diving into this one a bit more. In International melodic death doomsters Sleepwalkers have released their sophomore record, Anno Domini. This full-length studio album came out on August 13th via Transcending Records. Multi-instrumentalist Mike Watts has paired up with vocalist Caleb Bergen to unleash an inspired take on what the duo thinks melodic death doom should sound like in 2021. I appreciate the high fidelity on the audio production and the use of low-tuned crushing guitars. The formula brought on by Watts' songwriting lends for some great tracks, and while there's nothing really exceptional to be had here, it's a refreshing album in a very quiet subgenre in 2021. Overall, this is a strong record to check out if you're a fan of the melodic death doom, as we are here. My score is 4.3 sandwich-making Sleepwalkers.
Just like me. Right off the bat, the vocals just freaking hit me in the face. Awesome performances by Caleb Bergen on this one. Loved it. Love the interplay between the guitars and the synths for the atmosphere on this record. The synths are subtle, but they really bring it up a notch. Killer album artwork too by Danielle Serra. Very fitting for an album that sounds like it belongs right on the shelf with all of the second wave of Death Doom albums.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you brought up the album art. That's what caught my eye really about this. Great job on that one, Daniel.
Fawn Limbs, Darwin Falls, released August 13th on Wolves and Vibrancy Records. A truly inspiring work of art, mixing everything that I love about chaotic and heavy music. Moments of dark atmosphere, kind of like Ulver's non-metal electronic catalog. It's like Dillinger was mixed with Aphex Twin in the best way. This album is a fucking journey. And to be honest, I still haven't completely gotten my head around all of the songs. Everything is exceptionally executed and written and superbly dynamic that no song really gets boring. The album feels like a vile and twisted labyrinth of the most devious and demented minds, sonically obliterating you in every minute until you break through to pure madness. The production on this record is fantastic, showing intense understanding for great layering and composition. So many instruments on this record too, from your traditional drums, vocals, guitar and bass to cello, trombone, piano, oboe, trumpet, viola, sax, and electronic elements. I mean, come on, it's just insane. You have to listen to this record. It is utter madness. 4.5 out of 5 wrangled limbs.
This was an exciting one to check out for the first time. I love that you brought in Ulver into the picture, because I think I texted you this morning. I said, it reminds me of if Perdition City was a grindcore album.
Yes.
It's exactly that. It feels very cinematic in the coolest ways. It feels like you're listening to a movie soundtrack. Such a cool record. Really nice find on that one. Oklahoma City-based Memory Driven has put out their third full-length this year with their independently released album, The Earthen Lost. These progressive sludgesters may have delivered a sleeper hit here, and let me tell you why. The Earthen Lost is an absolute mammoth of a record, with 13 tracks spanning over an hour and 13 minutes. I'll get back to this in a moment. Memory Driven has surprised me with their ability to fuse the crushing heaviness of bands like Alice in Chains and Soundgarden with atypical rhythms and flows that remind me of Mastodon or even Asphyx. Unfortunately, I think there is a bit too much fat on this record. Some of these songs really could have been better suited on a B-side. And while I do admire the Lane Staley influence on the clean vocals, there are a lot of pitch issues here. Overall, this is a fantastic underground find, and that's what we do here on Underground Spotlight. I hope this band continues to refine their sound because their songwriting is impressive and genuine. Despite my score of 3.5 out of 5, for this record, you should really turn on the song Crushinger. It's a total beast with some awesome riffs.
There's a really cool mashup of grunge and stoner metal all over this record. The production is the biggest sore on this album, though. It's a bit long for being so unrefined, but like you said, if you check nothing else out on this record, Crushinger is fucking badass. Enigmatum, Deconsecrate, released August 13th on $20 spin. What a year for death metal, man. This Portland, Oregon quartet caught my eye on Deconsecrate with their vivid colors on their album artwork. Just check that shit out, man. It's fucking awesome. Mind-blowingly destructive riffs and solos and slamming grooves. This band is a pure breath of fresh air with how blackened death metal should sound. They pull from other genres too, unafraid to experiment with elements of melodic black metal, prog, and even some hardcore and grind at times. drums. I have a huge soft spot though for fretless bass, and the fact that the bass is whimsical and flies all over the place with the guitars just makes this guy right here so freaking happy. For a death metal album, this record is extremely adventurous for what the band experiments with. The production is crisp and brutal, yet organic and nearly live sounding, which is pretty freaking awesome. Every song is consistent in execution, and while I do admit the band seems a bit spastic at times instead of locking in, a lot of the times though, this does work. Great album, 4.2 out of 5, hallucinogenic, mystical doorways.
You mentioned the bass player. I want to mention the drumming. The drummer is insane. I love how they mix the drums. The toms themselves almost become their own instrument. It's such a cool thing about this record. Great pick on that one.
Check it out.
Boise-based Gorehot is much more than just a self-proclaimed blackened doom band. This trio has come out with a powerful debut entitled Loss of Light, released July 23rd on Transylvanian Records. This band delicately fuses stoner, sludge, doom, and black metal into a vile concoction. They seem to mainly base their melodic roots in the stoner realm, but they're very selective in introducing blackened elements to really keep things gross. Front to back, this record is a very nice surprise. For a debut, the band has released something that sounds very refined and well structured. Overall, I have to say that this is the highlight of all my discoveries, which is kind of a surprise given its stoner roots, not my usual cup of tea, but this trio does something really unique on this record, and I think I'll be revisiting it again. Loss of Light gets 4.5 blinded profits.
Another thing I want to hit on is the freaking awesome black and white album art. It would look so sick on a t-shirt. Please do that. This is a really chill album too, with a lot of great vibes. Guitar tone is rich and vibrant despite it sounding so dark. I love the boomy drums too and the gentle mix and master. It's not overly loud. It's definitely something I would throw on while I'm trying to be creative. The riffs go on a bit too long though, in my opinion, in some spots. With some refinement in the songwriting, the next release could go next level.
And what were your favorite picks from Bandcamp? Be sure to leave some links down below in the comments. And if you haven't yet, hit that like button and the subscribe if you're new.
Go with the gods, Forge Masters. The night is dark and full of terrors, so keep your lanterns topped off. See you next time.
Take care.